Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Paul, and in this video we're breaking down the new trailer for Predator Badlands. A brand new teaser for Dan Trachtenberg's next installment of the Predator franchise is here, and it's packed with Easter eggs, some hidden details, and things you might have missed. It's by far the most in-depth look at Dec we've had so far, and some of the trials and monsters he'll face on his journey. Throughout this video, we'll be going through it all, but I don't want to waste any more of your time. Now let's deck yourself before you wreck yourself and get right into it. Okay, so the trailer opens with Dec crash landing on the new Death Planet and realizing he's trapped before roaring in rage. I know some people aren't huge fans of Dec's design, especially when it was first revealed, but I think this shot might put some of those comments to rest. He is of course a young Predator, and I love the way you can really see the emotion on Dec's face. He goes from shock to despair and then anger. I feel like this has to be a combination of practical and CGI, which is similar to what they did with the feral Predator and Prey. That was a big step up from the other entries, but this feels like it's evolving things beyond that. This scene also goes along with our theory of Dec possibly being excommunicated from his clan, as it's clear he did not plan to crash here. This could also just be a mistake from him, as we know from the promotional material in this trailer that this is Dec's first official hunt. Now, while this seems to be Dec's first hunt to become a full member of his clan, we can also see that his mandible on the lower left side of his jaw's chipped. This shows that Dec has combat experience and likely sparred with others, potentially his brother, which we'll talk about in just a bit. However, what I like about this is it shows he's not perfect and that he has lost or been hurt in the past, so he's gonna have to grow throughout the movie. Now, the first 20 minutes of the film were actually screening an exclusive showing with Trachtenberg, so we do know a bit about the opening and the story. According to Bloody Disgusting, who got to see it early, which is bloody disgusting itself, mate, where was my invite? Dec is on a quest to prove himself to his father and the rest of his clan. Now, they are great, and I can see why you wouldn't invite me. The article does mention the film's opening, though, and that Dec and his brother are fighting for their father's approval, which is most likely the battle that we see between the two Yautja throughout the trailers. It was also confirmed at the SDCC Predator Badlands panel in Hall H that the Yautja with the white dreads is Dec's father. This is the one who banishes or punishes Dec and what's likely his brother. We recently saw a similar storyline playing out in the Predator comics in Predator vs. Black Panther by Benjamin Percy. There, a young Yautja fights his brother for their father's place as leader of their clan. They then come to Wakanda to obtain some vibranium and prove themselves to be the worthy successor. The footage also revealed the Death Planet's called Genna. This is what Dec chose as his hunting grounds because of how dangerous it is to hunt. It's the home of the Kalisk, which is a creature even their father fears. I think this is the main monster we see Dec facing off against and what Weyland-Yutani are after. We can see this towards the end of the trailer at 1 minute 31 and 1 minute 40. We also get a Yautja that's likely Dec's brother saying, "Failure means death," and Dec says, "I will not fail." This scene also shows them standing in front of a red hologram, and we can see an image of the Kalisk start to manifest. However, the Kalisk isn't the only crazy monster that Dec will have to fight, because oh shit, do we see a lot more monsters in this trailer. It's gonna be crazy, the fighting. But yeah, you can get why they call this the Death Planet. I'm going to talk about those more in just a bit, but firstly, just a quick word from our sponsors. Now, this video is sponsored by Huel. So Huel's become a big part of my daily routine, and it's at the point where I start my day with it every single day. Their Black Edition shake packs a balanced blend of carbs, fats, and 40 grams of plant-based protein. Along with this, you get 6 grams of fiber and 27 essential vitamins and minerals. To top it off, you get all that for just 400 calories. So it basically means I can start every day putting my best foot forward, and it gives me the fuel to bring you these great movie video. Yay! Obviously though, you know, we've started going beyond the office and normally shooting, and we're now doing things like visiting Holy Island, traveling out to garages with specialized cars, and whatever we can do to make the videos better. Huel helps me with my energy, and it's packed with vitamin C to reduce tiredness and fatigue. Whether it's a high protein breakfast, lunch, or post-workout refuel, it's complete nutrition made for your busiest days. Huel have also just launched their Huel Daily Greens, which is a super greens drink in a can. Forget your messy powders and pills. This is a sparkling fruit flavored drink that packs all the greens you need directly in a can. You can get lots of different flavors from like blueberry to Apple, where did I put the apple? There it is. And it gives you a delicious drink with 42 vitamins, minerals, and also superfoods. There's only 4 grams of fiber, 1 grain of sugar, and it comes in at just 25 calories. So lots of things to pick up to make you feel better. And right now, if you use my code in the description or scan the QR code on screen, you're going to get 15% off. They've got you covered morning, lunch, and dinner, and a snack in between, which are perfect for your entire day. That code is HEAVYS15, so go to my link in the description and use the code HEAVYS15 and get 15% off. Thank you. Okay, so from this point we get a wide shot of Genna, and you can see some kind of creature hanging off the bottom of a cliff. We saw in previous trailers how Dek and the Yutani soldiers are attacked by vines in the jungle. This just further shows how basically everything on this planet's trying to kill you. This is then taken even further as we see a bunch of different monsters, which starts with a giant squid type thing that has a giant beak and swings through the trees. It kind of looks like the Shumagorath from Marvel Comics, or the monster that Doctor Strange fought in Multiverse of Madness but wasn't technically Shumagorath because they didn't have the rights to it, so there's another one that I'm kind of blanking on. But yeah, it's way more scary here. Next is a giant elephant with a weird little mandible spike / finger thing on its trunk that comes out the ground and then puts its ears together to transform into a rhino. Which, holy shit, that's one of the best creature designs I've seen in a long time. I love the way it has a mandible akin to the Predator, and yeah, it's a really cool way to bring that design into other things. It also appears that this monster's composed of rock and its hair resembles moss. This further illustrates that these aren't just monsters that live on the Death Planet, but rather they're an integral part of the Death Planet's environment. Next is a shot of the dragon / pterodactyl creature and the exploding little ball sacks that we've seen in previous trailers. However, this extended shot of the ball sacks shows black tendrils closing in around it as the spikes emerge from the sacks. This could actually further support our theory from the last trailer breakdown, as they remind me a lot of the spores from Alien Covenant. That spread the xenomorph parasite, but it may also contain the black goo that we know creates life in its most chaotic form. Whale and Yutani obviously play a huge role in the film, and this could be another way of tying the two franchises together. The spores could be the reason for everything on Genna becoming monsters, and as we know, the goo creates life. We then get some shots of Dek and Tessa that we've seen in previous trailers, but there's a new one showing Dek swinging through tree branches and flying through the jungle with Tessa on his back. These tree shots feel like a carryover from a scene in Prey that they didn't fully get to do, in that we were going to have the Predator chase Naru through the trees and a longer section of it leaping through them for the final battle. We then get a few more shots of Dek fighting his brother, as well as his father fighting either Dek or his bro. We can either see Dek or his brother in the background, trapped behind a door, and this new angle of the fight goes along with the other trailers and the footage shown at Comic-Con. Shows a dad basically sending the kids off to military school and banishing them from the tribe, or rather excommunicating them to the Death Planet so they can go off and prove themselves. Excommunicado, as they say in John Wick. Jardani Wick. I'm a real fan because I call John Wick Jardani. We then see a couple of new shots of Dek fighting off the vines as the text comes over the screen between them and reads, "In this world, you are the prey unless you become the hunter. First hunt, last chance." We did mess up, mate, and downloaded the German trailer for this video because our YouTube downloaders have been absolutely screwed the last couple of days, and this was the only one we could get to work. Luckily, though, we only break down 40-year-old movies on the channel most of the time, so we've been alright. But yeah, this fucked us on this. The first hunt bit, though, is the same tagline from the poster, but am I the only one who thinks that the use of prey here may not have been a coincidence? The end credits scene of Predator Killer of Killers did reveal Naru's being captured by the Yautja and is being kept in cryostasis. Now, the word prey there, you know, it might not happen, but I swear if she shows up, I'm gonna fucking lose my shit. May seem like a long shot, but I actually think Naru could come in handy on the Death Planet. She and her tribe lived off the land, and the jungle will be very much in her element. Dek then gets pinned by the Kalisk, and we get our best look yet at the monster with its giant mouth of teeth and tendrils on its head. You can see why even Dek's dad was afraid of this thing as well. We then see the same fight we saw earlier with Dek's brother, but from a different angle behind the door. We also get Dek rushing to try and get out. This confirms our theory from about a minute ago of Dek being the one trapped behind the door in the previous scene. This means it's the brother who's fighting the father, and it's lots of bloody family drama. If you get on with your family though, why not buy them a gift at our merch store below? There we have lots of our Alien and Predator inspired shirts, and have our original Jungle Hunter one, Pray to No one, and our El Diablo one as well. We also have a ton of Alien Earth inspired stuff as well, and the more you get, the more of a discount you get on the shirts. Shabow! Next is a repeat shot of the Yutani soldiers closing in and Deck from the previous trailers. We then get what I think is our first official look at Tessa's twin Thea. In case you don't know, there's actually two on the planet, so I think that Thea is the one that we see with the soldiers here. We've theorized a lot of our breakdowns about how Tessa's in one scene and Thea's in another, but yeah, I think this confirms this is the first time we're seeing her. In those ones, we initially thought the differences were signified by the purple streaks seen in Elle Fanning's hair, but not in others. However, here she has blonde eyebrows, whereas in every other shot of her in the trailers, she has brown ones. This is also the first time we've seen her dressed as a soldier. Her hair is also parted down the middle, whereas Tessa has bangs. This could be a result of her getting messed up throughout the movie, which we have seen, but I really think this is her twin who will be fully committed to the Weyland-Yutani cause. On the flip side of this, I think Tessa may abandon Yutani to help Deck. I wouldn't be surprised if Thea is the one who cuts Tessa in half and causes her to be strung up in that tree. This then likely leads to the healing pod we saw in the last trailer. Bloody family drama! After that, we see Deck and his brother fighting again, and the same shot from the trailer of the Kalisk attacking something similar to the mech suit from Aliens. However, this moment's extended to show it biting at the glass. We then get a bird's eye view shot of Deck slicing the elephant rhino in half as it rushes towards him and Tessa. We then get some more shots of Deck facing off against the Kalisk in the ruins of the Yutani vehicles and their equipment. These new shots further convince me that this is a Weyland-Yutani origin facility. We mentioned this in our previous trailer breakdowns, but in case you didn't see them, the origin facility was basically a research facility where the company studied xenomorphs. They then used eggs to breed live specimens. The surrounding location looks a lot like the base in Aliens Colonial Marines, and I think the shots of the Kalisk fighting the mech suit are from earlier in the film before Deck arrives on the planet. I feel that the monster destroys the facility and it puts Deck and Yutani on sort of opposing sides as they try and take down the creature. During this, Tessa may have been injured before joining with Deck. That is, if Thea doesn't get her first. This would also align with the footage we've seen so far, as the monster fighting the mech suit happens at night, but all the scenes with Deck are shot during the day. Also feel like we may potentially see a xenomorph in the movie, with one possibly coming from this facility, but that is a big hope that I'm praying for. As we flash through some more of the new shots, we see Deck firing a Weyland-Yutani pulse rifle and also get him falling off a waterfall. This is a nice little nod to the original Predator, where Dutch did something similar. There's then that hologram shot with them talking the Casilisk and Deck's brother with an energy shield. We then see Deck using a door from one of the destroyed Yutani trucks as a shield as he rushes the Kalisk and slices through its stomach. However, the monster looks back at Deck like, didn't even hurt me, didn't even scratch me, and we close out the trailer focusing on the monster's eye. That then brings us to the end of the teaser and also this video. While the trailer had lots of shots we've already seen, I think they added just enough new footage to give us a better idea of where the story's going to go, without really giving anything away. I also love the opening as well, and it quelled a lot of my doubts seeing Deck in full detail. There's lots of human emotion that he's eliciting, and finally we're getting a movie where the Predator's the main character and they're not just getting their arse kicked at the end of the film. So yeah, very excited for it. Probably my most anticipated movie for the rest of the year. We'll see what Avatar's like, if that 3D spectacle is as good as, you know, Cameron normally sells it as. But yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the meantime. Are you excited? Have you picked up a t-shirt? Did you join our membership program for 99 cents a month? If you do, you get early access to videos every single week, like our new It breakdown, which is on the channel now. Also, if you want to keep up to date with what we're doing, then make sure you follow us on Instagram at Heavy Spoilers. We are also continuing the Alien vs Predator series, I promise. Unfortunately, due to Welcome to Derry, we kind of had to pause that because we're going to be doing the It movies. But yeah, Alien vs Predator Requiem will be done very soon, and then we're moving back onto the Alien franchise and redoing those breakdowns in a lot more detail. So yeah, lots of things to look forward to for the rest of the year. Thank you for watching, and yeah, I've been your host Paul. You've been the best as always, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care, peace.